Cover shows a deer that decided to jump off a cliff to escape from hunting dogs. Maybe escape isn't the right word. This is definitely its last jump. To die from the dog's teeth or from falling off a cliff. Difficult choice. But sometimes there are really sad stories in the animal world. Today, you'll learn why penguins bully their children, why swans lose their meaning of life, and why old lions are kicked out of the pride. The pictures that you see now may seriously upset you. A Chinese woman named Yan Yan Sao unexpectedly captured a unique and tragic moment. She noticed a young swan anxiously beating the water surface with its wings, and next to it an older bird. Unfortunately, the second swan was dead. The young swan was very worried about it, then put its head under the water and, well, you got it. After a few minutes, the young swan also died, as if it couldn't bear the separation. But there's an even stranger case. Take a look at this photo. Yes, again the swan, but this one suddenly fell from the sky. Well, you've probably heard the theory about swan love, the strongest love in the world. When a swan loses its beloved, it also loses the meaning of life. It flies up high, folds its wings, and yes, sad. Kind of a romantic end. Maybe this bird that fell on the car also lost the love of its life. Unfortunately, the swan couldn't tell us about the reasons, even if it could speak human. It had to be put down in a clinic because of serious injuries. Despite the well-known theory, scientists are skeptical, as usual. Nobody managed to prove whether the swan fell deliberately or maybe accidentally crashed into the windshield of the car in flight. The bird's chest injuries were so serious that veterinarians couldn't find the original cause of the fall. Also, it's believed that sometimes swans can mistake the road surface for a river. For example, in the early morning or at sunset or immediately after rain, well then, the predictable result, an attempt to land which ends in tragedy. But if it all isn't so clear with swans, it seems that in the case of lions, scientists do have it figured out. Needless to say, the kings of the jungle don't rush to the ground from high altitude, that'd be strange, but inside their species, there's a different drama. Take a look at these photos. It's heartbreaking. The old, exhausted lion is living its last hours, even minutes, because it was banished from its pride. And not because it did something terrible, it's not Lion King. The social structure of the pride is based on certain roles. Lionesses are hunting, and lions are responsible for protecting the territory. It's quite simple. At the age of about 2 or 3 years old, young males leave their pride and try to take possession of another male's pride. From time to time, there are fatal fights, where sometimes young and adult lions die. If a young lion wins and the old one remains alive, the latter has to leave its family forever. The surviving losers often become vagabonds and are forced to hunt on their own, so they lose weight and become scavengers at the end of their lives. Most likely, the lion from these pictures suffered really grieve, try to support each other, hug each other in their own way, and no, really, my heart just breaks. Just listen to the sound of a mother that lost its chicks. It's unbearable. Perhaps you already have the impression that all penguins adore each other's chicks and live in one tight group. Well, there's nothing surprising about it. Most people think of penguins as cheerful and carefree birds living in the cold polar regions of the Earth. But this is not always the case. In fact, penguins can be quite unpleasant if you enter their territory without an invitation. And it doesn't matter to them who crossed their borders, a predator or another penguin, or even a too-active chick. Young penguins, as any other babies, are often full of energy. They constantly need to do something, to run somewhere, so it's no wonder that chicks are drawn to explore everything around them. Often they leave their territory and dare to move to another. And there's this, where exploring can turn to tragedy. When a young penguin enters territory of others uninvited, adult penguins can repeatedly intimidate or even peck at it. If a young penguin doesn't take the hint quickly enough, it'll have a painful ending. Adult peckering can be ruthless, and in some cases, several penguins join forces and continue to hit with their beaks until it's over. Brutal, ruthless. Animal experts aren't sure why this happens at all. Most likely, the adult penguins guard their territory and take it very seriously, and the chick just chose the wrong place to play in the wrong time. But the most famous and most tragic thing that animals do that's known to man is done by marine mammals. Yes, I'm talking about numerous cases of beaching themselves. Every year, there are reports from all over the world. Whales and dolphins strand themselves in packs on land and then they die. Sometimes these are isolated cases, but other times dozens of individuals beach themselves on the coast simultaneously. It's impossible to save them. When it comes to such behavior of animals, many immediately think about human activity. We can apply any theory here: plastic, harmful emissions, sonars that confuse the whales and force them to strand themselves, but such incidents have been known for a long time. Even Aristotle wrote about them, and in his time, mankind was hardly managing to seriously harm nature. You think that Aristotle is too much? Here's some later testimonies in 1938 in the USA and 1964 in Australia. But still, what makes sea animals go to their deaths? It can't be a conscious act. The most popular theory is that something happens to one or two whales and then they send a distress signal and the rest come to the rescue. But the sick animal leads their friends to the shallow water where all of them die. In some cases, the reasons for this behavior is even known. For example, dolphins living off of the northeastern coast of the United States often get pneumonia and strand themselves. Another theory is that dolphins or whales escape from a predator attack, swim too close to the shore, and get stuck at low tide. If we believe the third version, then the animals are just stunned. Under normal conditions, they orientate themselves in space with the help of echo-reflecting signals. If the animals are stunned, they're lost and may strand themselves as a result. For example, in 2001, researchers from the Bahamas found a connection between the number of stranded dolphins and the U.S. Navy exercises with the sonar conducted nearby. Can these results be applied to all known cases? I doubt it. But all this remains just a theory, one of the thousands of theories that people develop around animal behavior. Perhaps if we observe them more closely, we can learn more. So, well, keep an eye on your cat or dog, or your hamster. Who knows what secrets they may hide. All right, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video and all that. Already done it? All right, get back to your hamster before it beaches itself.